Okay, so this pattern that you're going to see is fairly common in any programming language, but specifically in JavaScript. So we have all this logic for iterating over, creating the row, creating the buttons, appending to the table, the body. Okay, so you can kind of see logically this whole thing right here could be, and I'm going to go ahead and cut it out. Now, you can either create the, you just don't want to lose this code. You can always undo, so no big deal. But I'm going to cut it out. And come up here. I'm going to say function render. Now, what are we going to render? We're going to render the row, right? That's what we're rendering. We're rendering the row. Okay. Now we'll talk about render row. Why is it not like that? Oh yeah, just didn't. And then paste it. Okay. Render the row now. Again, this code is not working yet. But we have to think about how we're going to, because what does it need? So when you create a new function and you copy existing code into it, you have to think about what does it need. Well, it needs the object, right? Because we're going to enter, and actually, where does it get the object? It has to have data. So it needs data passed into it, which means down here, okay, I'm going to say constant tbody is going to be equal to render row, and I'm going to pass data. Okay, for a minute I'm going to do this. Okay, because what can I do here, right? Let me think about, actually, you know what? Better name for this is not render row. It's actually render body. Because think about it. We're rendering the whole body of it. And then the last thing we do is append the table. So what we could do is take this out here, bring it down here, right? Change this to body. By the way, we're naming it whatever we want. Render TBL body would be what I'd call that. But in order for that to work, render TBL body, passing in the data, what do we need to do? There's one other thing we need to do here. And again, your editor's trying to help you. Okay? Well, first we have to do is do const tbody equal create element tbody. So we have to do that first. And then in here, when we append it, then we need to return tbody. And when we return tbody, I think this should work. Okay. When we return it now, look how simple our render tables are becoming. But let's see if it works before I get all happy about it. Okay, let's see if it works. First, last, one, apartment. Oh, good. Oh, that's simple. Oh, that's simple. That was a newbie error, but I don't mind making newbie errors because we all make them. It just is a part of coding. First, last, one, apartment. Oh, another one. Table, append child. Why don't you like that? Append child tbody. It says failure to execute. Oh, this was a fun one. Failure to execute append body type none. Append child. Let me look at it. Let's think about it. See what I forgot. I'm sure I forgot something. I created the body. I did the body here by passing it back. tbody table here. Passed it back. Let's see the error. is not a valid node. Is not a valid node, really? Oh, let's see. Okay, let's actually see. Let's see if it's not a valid node. Now here's what I'd do is I'd set a breakpoint. First, last, one, so I can make the form go, and then when I'm here, I'll move this over so I can watch it. Okay, creating the body element, tbody, good. Iterating over. So what I do is stop somewhere here to make sure. Okay, so here I've dropped out. Now I'm just going to check out my TR. My TR looking good. What does tbody look like at this point? Right? Nothing, which would make sense because we actually haven't done anything. So now we're appending the child TR, append child TD. So now we're adding the buttons in, and now we're going to take append child TR. Sure seems like that would work. Okay, so let's do tbody again. Okay, so now it seems like we have all we need. We have our buttons. Yeah, we got our buttons. It seems like we got everything we need. And so now when we return tbody here, why isn't it going? Okay, and here's where it's like, it's undefined, but I'm returning it. Okay, all right, let me pause. Well, that was fun. Here was the error, right here. And this is one of those things that can just be a gotcha sometimes, right? Because I've defined here tbody, right? And when I return it here, the context is what throws that doesn't work. Because remember, we're iterating over here, right? And so this return is not actually doing what we think because of the context of the code. We need to do it down here because at this point we've built out the body, and the reason it was undefined is where we were returning it, tbody didn't have anything in the reference. Kinda. But let's look at it. First, last, one, apartment. Cool. First, last, two, apartment. Let's let it run. And that worked. So if you want to see that in more detail, what you'd want to do here is think about every time, because we're appending the body every time at the end of the iteration over actually in that case over the for each. Okay, so we need to wait until that is completely built in order to return it, and I was returning it before it was, and therefore it was throwing a undefined. That was a good one. Those are the kind of ones that, you know, it's just a matter of the more you learn, and the key to it is really trying to just using DevTools. DevTools is honestly one of my best friends when I'm coding, because then I can really see what's going on. And now my code looks good. It's much cleaner. I just had to return this to below. Matter of fact, if you're ever unsure, right, you can see it's actually below. It's after the iteration over the array of objects. I had it above it, and it was returning it. And actually what it was doing is returning it to where there was no variable to catch it. In other words, to declare, right? So when I pass it back before it actually had completed the whole thing, it was trying to return it to a variable that did not exist. That's actually a better way to say it. Okay, so I'll have you submit this code, and then I'll kind of play around with what we're going to do next here.